Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and The Mandalorian has been so damn great, we're gonna break down Chapter 2. Not just the Star Wars connections and Easter eggs, but the visual symbolism and cinematic homages that were snuck into the imagery, and of course some theories for why Baby Yoda is so important, other than holiday gift sales. Please give me one, I want that. Yeah, sorry I'm a little behind on this one. I'm essentially on triple time producing rewatches of the first 2 Star Wars trilogies, and banking some really exciting content for the holidays. Not getting much sleep. But we're here before Chapter 3 came out, so mission accomplished. Enough about my mental state. On to the episode, and spoiler warning in case you haven't seen it yet. The episode opens on this lizard. It's almost exactly like the opening shot of Mad Max Fury Road, my favorite movie of this decade, maybe of every decade. But rather than stomp on this lizard eating it raw, this road warrior scares it off as he escorts Baby Yoda. Now, this probably isn't the Yoda, though I did spin a pretty wild theory about how it could be in last week's episode of Rogue Theory, but Yoda's species is unknown. A plotline in Star Wars Rebels featured them scouring the galaxy for Force-sensitive babies. This could be part of that plan. Others have noted that the patch worn by Dr. Pershing, companion to Werner Herzog's The Client, resembles the emblem of Kamino, the planet of the cloning facility in Attack of the Clones. So perhaps that fuels the whole Yoda clone theory. But away from crackpot corner of the Rogue Theory table, I'm now betting that this Baby Yoda is an unrelated member of the Yoda species. His appearance alone is enough to evoke nostalgia. We don't need a direct familial relation. There's just too much symbolism in that floating pod. It's clearly designed to evoke an egg, which would further underline the fragility of this infant. And in order to avoid having to trade this egg to the Jawas to get his ship parts back, Mando must retrieve for them another suga egg. Yummy, yummy suga. Like another thing you can bloodlet your precious time to on Disney Plus, Wally, they're using the egg imagery here to contrast a barren deathscape to suggest the promise of something new. And I think making Baby Yoda Yoda's baby, or Yoda's clone, or Yoda himself would contradict that Neo symbolism. Mando saves Baby Yoda from a few Trandoshans, presumably the same bounty hunters who clocked him back in episode 1. Now these are the same race of the bounty hunter Bosk from Empire Strikes Back. I love how the visuals hint at their ambush. First just a subtle shadow as they leap overhead, and then on the reflection of Mando's helmet as he turns. Cool as this helmet is, like Baby Yoda's egg, it's also a shell that's equally protective and prohibitive. In Mando's case, it's cutting off his peripheral vision. A freaking blurg got the drop on him last episode. I'm just saying, the thing's got a lot of blind spots. When Mando shoots with his rifle, his targets disintegrate, leaves their clothes behind. This tech dates back to that bounty hunter scene in Empire, which seems to have inspired this whole series.
But I want them alive. No disintegrations.
Mando sees that the Trandoshans were given the same locator for Baby Yoda that he was, signaling to him that, like IG-11, several bounty hunters were deployed. Perhaps the client wants to cover his bases, or other paying clients are after the same thing. Baby Yoda tries to heal Mando's wound, but not understanding, Mando pushes him back. It's kind of similar to the ouch healing powers of E.T., which is an alien species that technically exists in the Star Wars universe from that background Easter egg in The Phantom Menace, and E.T. excitedly following a kid in a Yoda costume saying, home, home. Mando finds Jawas stripping his ship for their sandcrawler, like the one they had on Tatooine, but I doubt this planet is Tatooine. It rains here, and Tatooine orbits binary stars that scorch it so that it's really only habitable at its poles. Jawas can generally be found on several planets. It's interesting how the Jawas communicate via landline, transmitting to the helm via this horn. It evokes old school ships. I also love how willing the Jawas are to sacrifice their own parts to shake off Mando, from throwing scraps at him to knocking off their crane extension, because they're scavengers, they'll just find new junk to replace it all. They stun Mando and he freezes and tips over. It's perfect, he's doing an impression of R2-D2 when he was stunned by Jawas in the first Star Wars film. Before I continue, thank you to The Ridge for sponsoring this episode. The Ridge makes everyday goods to a standard you don't see every day. They streamline your life by turning the things you carry, like backpacks, chargers, and wallets, into tools for better living. Their flagship product, the Ridge Wallet, was launched on Kickstarter in 2013 and now sits in the front pockets of over 500,000 men and women. I developed George Costanza back problems from an overstuffed wallet, but not from money. It was like receipts, napkins, I found some hand sanitizer in there. But now I got this baby, where it sleekly contains all the cards that you need and cash. This is their aluminum wallet in the raw color. They have other colors, including some very flashy tiki designs. It's light, it's strong, and has a cool industrial chic vibe. The Ridge is a minimal front pocket wallet that's designed to streamline what you carry every day. It has 30,000 5-star reviews and is a better way to carry your cash and cards. There's a lifetime warranty if you love it, and free returns if you don't. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, in a dozen different styles and colors. We also got their weatherproof commuter backpack that comes with a shock-resistant laptop holder and a hidden RFID blocking pocket. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/newrockstars. That's ridge.com/newrockstars and use the code NEWROCKSTARS, and you can find the link in the description below. These recurring wide landscapes of Mando with Baby Yoda evoke the imagery of classics like Lawrence of Arabia and the westerns of John Ford and Sergio Leone, all major influences on the original trilogy films. He returns to Kuiil, the Ugnaught, played by Nick Nolte. If you remember, Ugnaughts first appeared on Cloud City. They're hard workers who often end up in servant roles. Baby Yoda eats a frog whole, similar to how Jabba the Hutt eats a frog in Return of the Jedi, so maybe Jabba's his dad. Baby Yoda burps and giggles, suggesting that even at the young age of 50, this species has the same goofy sense of humor shown by Yoda when we first met him.
Right.
Now, the Jawas scrap pile contains an R5 astromech unit similar to the one seen in Star Wars, the one that caught fire when Uncle Owen tried to buy it, and a new droid that shares parts with a medical unit similar to the one that operated on Vader in Revenge of the Sith. Remember the one that he force smushed before he knowed? Mando says that weapons are part of his religion, referring to the ancient customs of the people of Mandalore, whose people have survived by adhering to warrior traditions. That's also why he equally vehemently refuses to trade his Beskar armor. It's all sacred to him and his people. They mock Mando's ability to speak Jawa, saying he sounds like a Wookiee, keeping up with the tradition of everyone in the Star Wars universe shitting on Wookiees.
Where are you taking this thing?
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
To retrieve the Suga, Mando must fight a rhinoceros-type creature, adapting the whole mythological quest of slaying the dragon to retrieve the gold. Now this creature is fur-covered, applying the pachyderm evolution logic of the elephant's ancestor, the woolly mammoth. The rhino reveals itself with the opening of a huge eye, foreshadowed by the eye shape of the cave entrance. We've actually seen this similar trope of giant beasts opening their eyes to surprise people in movies like Godzilla and Jurassic Park films. Mando holds out a knife hopelessly as death closes in, but he's saved at the last second by a Deus Ex Machina, Baby Yoda, using the Force. It's kind of similar to that moment in Saving Private Ryan, Captain Miller hopelessly firing his pistol at the German tanks until one explodes, saved miraculously by the American planes overhead. Baby Yoda is exerting roughly the same energy that the real Yoda used to lift the X-Wing from the Dagobah swamp. If you listen closely, the composer Ludwig Göransson underscores this miracle with the subtlest leitmotif to John Williams' Force theme. Mando is mystified by this, as is Kuiil when he hears about it, reflecting the recurring skepticism toward the Force throughout the Star Wars universe, from Han laughing in Obi-Wan's face to Rey thinking Luke Skywalker was a myth. And as they repair the ship, I love how the superimposing cross dissolves create the illusion of the sparks of their tools appearing to be fixing Baby Yoda as it sleeps, as if restoring it back to health too. Now, despite the ending with Baby Yoda finally awakening from his power nap, this episode ends on a notably darker tone than Chapter 1, because Kuiil denies payment for his generosity, but he does say this:
"Thank you for bringing peace to my valley."
To me, this suggests that, as adorable as this thing is, it brings nothing but violence wherever it goes. Violence that Mando is now carrying with him. Subscribe to New Rockstars here on YouTube for more Star Wars analysis, and follow me at Erik Voss. Thanks for joining me, and I think I ate some bad sugas.